If it's broken down into its base components, risotto looks like this. First, an aromatic base is toasted in cooking fat. Next, rice is added so the fat can coat the individual kernels, then the liquid is poured in and the rice is slowly cooked to your desired creamy texture before finishing with a flavor base like cheese and a fresh garnish. Now this can be done a number of ways and people can be quite opinionated about it. My preferred risotto technique doesn't take 45 minutes of constant wrist tendonitis induced stirring. Instead, it's a conglomeration of methods from Marcella Hazan and Serious Eats that takes about 31 minutes in total. Cutting, cooking, and cleaning all included. Does it make the best risotto in the world? I don't know, but I think it's plenty solid for a home cook like me. Hey everyone, I'm Ethan, a home cooking nerd who likes to find better ways to cook and share them with all of you. Risotto is one of the techniques that I think everyone should have in their cooking tool belt because you can turn almost any ingredient or leftover into a risotto, and this video isn't about making the perfect risotto. Instead, it's just to give you the basics so you can make risotto however you like it. So let's talk about that. When making risotto, you have two big decisions to make. Number one, how do you want the consistency? And number two, how long do you want to cook your rice? Marcella Hazan notes in her book that risottos primarily fall into two camps. The Piedmont Milanese Bolognese style, which is more sticky, compact, and tight, and Veneto, which is looser and runnier. The Piedmont style is achieved by evaporating the liquid as the rice is finished cooking, and Veneto is done by finishing the rice when it's still quite moist. You can do whatever you want, I usually just make a game time decision. To decide how long you want to cook the rice, it's simple. Do you prefer firm or tender rice? For a firm, chalky arborio rice kernel, 15 minutes will be plenty, but for a tender, more cooked through rice, 20 to 25 minutes should be enough. If you want it even softer, you can go for longer. I usually do my arborio rice for about 20 minutes. With the basics covered, let's walk through the step-by-step recipe for a risotto with Parmigiano Reggiano. To start, set a skillet over low heat and add 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of butter to let melt. Meanwhile, you can slice an onion into an eighth and then grate it. I find that using a grater is perfect for this dish as the tiny pieces of onion cook down fast and the texture is almost imperceptible while the buttery, oniony flavor is undeniable. Once the onion is grated, do the same with 2 cloves of garlic. Back at the stove, toss the grated onion and garlic into the bubbling butter and let it cook for about 1 to 2 minutes until it is fragrant and softened. Meanwhile, you can weigh out 120 grams or 2/3 of a cup of arborio rice. Arborio is probably the most readily available risotto rice, but Marcella notes that Violone Nano and Carnarole are other great options, but if you aren't picky like me, you can absolutely make risotto with plain old white rice. It's not as creamy due to the lower starch amount, but it works well enough if that's all you have. Additionally, measure out 113 grams or a half cup of chicken stock mixed with 227 grams or 1 cup of water. I find that store-bought stock is on the salty side, so I like to dilute it in order to have better control with tasting the salt at the end. Pour the rice into the buttery aromatics and then toss it so every kernel is coated in fat. I'm not actually looking to toast the rice here as that breaks down the starch on the rice and will mess up the thickening power. Instead, I'm just looking to coat them. Once the rice is coated, pour in about 80 to 90% of the total liquid. Now, slowly adding the liquid can be done, but it's not necessary for risotto, and instead, here's what I prefer to do. Turn the skillet up to medium-high heat and bring the liquid to a simmer, then set the heat to low. I actually move this to my less powerful back burner and place a cover on it. Then set a timer for 10 minutes and let it sit there, like seriously, you don't even need to touch it. Meanwhile, you can grate a bunch of fresh parm, slice up the parsley, wash your dishes, put away any ingredients. Then after 10 minutes, check on it and give it a stir or two. It should still be fairly loose and liquidy at this stage, and set another timer for 10 minutes, where again, you don't have to do anything, but you could wipe down your counters, film the intro to this video, jam out to your favorite song, solve the world's problems. I don't know, you can literally do whatever you want. After the second timer, 20 minutes in total, test the rice for doneness. If it's to your desired texture, then you just need to balance out the creaminess. You can add a little bit more of the stock or water, or add a lot more if you're going for that smoother style, and then finish it with a small pat of butter and a bunch of fresh parm until it reaches your desired consistency. This is really that final step where it actually becomes risotto, gets a little bit of creamy and cheesy. You can maybe add a crack of black pepper and a touch of salt if you need it. Creamy Parmesan risotto with about 5 minutes of active time. Now you can top it up with another grating of cheese, fresh parsley, or other herbs, and there you have it. Serve it with chicken, steak, roasted vegetables. The risotto world is now yours. Carpe diem. So I just realized I forgot to press record while I was filming the outro and doing the taste test. So this is what I have left of my risotto before I realized that, so you guys can tell it's pretty good. But creamy, you know, I like mine a little bit on the stickier side. Make sure you just don't overcook the rice, you know, but it's really not that hard to do, just to get it nice and tender. And then mix in really whatever you want to. That's like the best thing about risotto. You can mix in any other ingredients. You could do roasted vegetables in here. You could just serve it with like some chicken or steak. You could, you know, mix in like a puree of some kind. There's so many different ways that you can take risotto, and you can make it exactly how you want to. If you want it more on the tighter, kind of stickier side like I like, you can make it like that. Just, you know, take more of that moisture out. If you want it on the soupier side, just add more of that moisture in right as it's done finishing in the pan. And that's really why risotto, I think, is a base blueprint recipe that really everyone should know how to make. So hopefully you were able to pick up one or two things. I'm gonna just finish my risotto plate now that I'm actually recording this time. I'll catch you all in the next one. Recipe will be up on my website. Peace.